A lot of your fans are super funny, man. Oh, if it's not CJI, then we are not watching, and taking sides like it's actually your organization and like you are competing and getting paid or underpaid by some organization, in this case ADCC. First and foremost, I want to start by discussing CGI and how much I actually enjoyed CGI, because guess what? I am a grappling fan and I enjoy every high level show. And I think CGI was probably one of the most well done and most well formatted shows that I have ever seen, probably. And all in all, it turned out to be a great night for grappling. And I watched it the first day and the second day fully. My wife was not happy about that, especially with the ADCC also being on the same weekend than the UFC. So thank you, Craig. But the jokes aside, I think Craig Jones truly deserves the thanks from the grappling community, because I think what he did turn out to be a great move and a great play. Because initially I thought that, man, this guy's gonna ruin my ADCC, because naturally some athletes will move to this new competition and it will water down the brackets. And it happened, obviously, but it didn't happen as heavy as one might have expected, because they had only two divisions and certain amount of spots because of the over and under 80 kilograms. And ADCC was still pretty stacked. ADCC was still pretty good and very entertaining. I watched the full ADCC as well, most of the matches, as much as possible. But on top of that, we had another event, completely different format, which turned out to be great. And I will admit that I had some questions about the round scoring, because all in all, even in the UFC and even in the MMA, the round format does not favor jiu-jitsu because of the restarts. And you may have somebody in the deep submission, whatnot, or you may have a great position on somebody, and then it's been taken away from you. Yes, you will get the rewards in scores for that, but still, nonetheless, you may lose a position which was very, very hard to get, which may have led to a finish. But having watched that, especially with this one mat format, there was like an invitational format, which it's called an invitational, so I guess it's the correct format for that. And also the rounds and the MMA 10-point must scoring system. I think there's a place for that. Okay, I think if there was like one rule set that had to be decided today, I may not have gone with that, but I believe that there is a place for that. Now let's discuss the pit, okay, or the alley as they call it, which was taken from Karate Combat format, and they made it, I think, more rectangular shape and a bit bigger than in Karate Combat, and they called it an alley. And I think it was great for grappling, and I certainly want more shows to be done with that format, and I certainly want more CGIs to be done in the future as well, especially if they can get the funding, or if they can come up with a business model that's sustainable to run a show like this. Because what other setup would have contained a match like Ruotolo versus Cade Ruotolo versus Andrew Tackett? Not many setups would have been able to do that. And this, I think, did it as successful as possible. And it was truly awesome. Plus, you can't also run away. You know, that Joe Rogan has this idea of the fight should be held in the basketball court, but no matter no matter how big the arena is, okay, if somebody wants to escape and there's an escape place, they will find a wall. They will find a border of the of the setup. Okay, but here I think it contains it really well, better than the cage as well. And I think overall, if you can get the spectator side down for the live spectators, it's possible because Karate Combat is doing, and now CJI also did. It may be the way to go for grappling. Now let's touch some of the ADCC versus CGI things. Okay, is it possible that, or is it likely that ADCC is employing some unfair tactics against the grapplers and maybe underpaying them, whatnot? Yes, it's probably possible. But name me one major league in MMA or in boxing or in grappling that does not do that. Okay, name me probably any monopoly or any type of large market shareholder in any business that does not employ certain tactics that make somebody mad. Okay, whether it's the distributors, the customers, the suppliers, whatever. When you have big bargaining power and when you are the premier organization and the early mover which became successful, it's bound to happen, unfortunately. And especially when the organization was not making profit for many years, and now perhaps just making a profit or at least breaking even, they will not certainly start handing out big stacks of money to the athletes, especially when there's a clear-cut model, perhaps unfair as well, set by the Olympics and many other organizations, which basically pay you in prestige, right? They pay you in prestige, and now you go kill what you want to eat, okay? Because Olympics directly doesn't pay anybody. The governments, the sponsors pay, as you know, and it's the same thing. You actually spend money to go to the Olympics, even if the government is funding most of your expenses in this case. There's probably some of the things that government may not be buying for you, so you are investing in yourself, especially throughout your early career. Nobody's probably funding anything, so you have this big dream, especially in sports like wrestling, judo, and many other sports that are Olympic sports. You are working for free for a very long time, so obviously ADCC is also very happy employing the same tactic, even though they're actually paying some money for the winners. But clearly, if you look at the effort versus the reward, it's not enough. Definitely 10,000 to go through the murderous row of grapplers. $10,000 is definitely not enough. But again, they considered it just, I guess, symbolic money. But you are supposed to make more money off of that. But as it has been discussed, and Craig has also spoken about it, not everybody can do that. But again, not everybody can do a lot of things. So my address towards a lot of those tribal guys that, I only watch this, or ADCC is dead, and they're happy about it, which there is no indication for now that ADCC is dead by any means. But even if there was the truth, I mean, are you up in arms about UFC malpractices perhaps, or alleged malpractices, which are openly discussed on many platforms and by many former or even current athletes? Are you jumping on board crazy with PFL, for instance, to help them make some change and maybe challenge the monopoly that UFC holds? Probably you're not. Okay, or if you are probably still watching the UFC. I understand some of the practice the UFC has. I understand that they're a business, even though, yes, I have my certain opinions about some of the practices they have. But again, that happens with any organization of their stature. And I still watch UFC, okay? So I cannot be a hypocrite and say that, oh, we don't watch UFC, I will only watch whatever, PFL or something else from now on, unless I actually do it. So I watch the UFC, why? Because they still have, not still, but they have the top athletes, same way that ADCC still has a lot of the top athletes, and a lot of the great performances are going to be delivered on the ADCC stage. So I want to watch a lot of those excellent matches, a lot of those excellent submissions that we saw, a lot of those upsets, crazy upsets that we saw on ADCC. So I cannot go around and claim that I don't want to watch ADCC and I'll only watch CJI. I watch CJI, I watch ADCC. Clearly, you can do that as well. Yes, I understand the problem with the paywall as well, but, well, if you don't put it behind the paywall, I don't know if it's very sustainable model for it to be free on YouTube. Maybe it is, maybe they'll get more sponsors in a way, but they'll have to take a look how much money they can generate on the commercial side. Oh, here my neighbor agrees with the drill. Okay, so clearly the fact that Craig got, I don't know, I think around 3 million basically is free money to spend without the liability of an investment, as I understand. That's a completely different situation than most organizations operate in. So for the next one, if let's say somebody is not willing to put up the money without it being an investment, like just as a free money, and it's not even a sponsorship because we don't even know who the guy is. Thank you very much to whoever you are, but most likely that's not going to happen every year. They'll have to find some type of sustainable model in the future as well, if they want to especially put up such a huge cash prices, even for the absolute divisions, even if they don't make many divisions like the other organizations have. And obviously there's more than cash, more than prize money that you have to worry about, right? The venue, the setup, the production, all of it, the marketing. So clearly they'll have to find a way to run it more sustainably, and it still remains to be seen how they will be able to handle that and how much of the ticket sales and sponsorships will cover, right? Right now, even the ticket sales went to the charity, so basically they're giving away all the money, which is great gesture, but clearly it's not a business. And unless there's somebody who has insane amount of money and then says that every single year for the whatever year or rest of my life, I'll give you this money, don't worry about it, it's not gonna work, right? They'll have to find a better business model than that, and remains to be seen if such a business model can be found without selling the streaming rights as well. I think one of the biggest upper hands that purely on the competition side the CGI had against the ADCC is the one mat or one place where the competitors compete, right? ADCC has 3 mats, and only the finals are shown as single matches, because ADCC has many divisions between the female and male. I think it's 8 divisions, and they have the super fights and the absolute division also. So clearly, if you want to end it in 2 days, you need that amount of mats. So maybe in the future, I don't know if it's possible or not, they will be able to do more days than 2, and they'll be able to show it on 1 mat. I don't know, probably not possible, especially if you want to do it in T-Mobile Arena. But that's the big upside for organization like CJI, because you are locked in on this one match, like UFC or like any other big combat sport event like boxing or something like that. And yeah, you just get a better experience clearly. And I think the alley or the pit or whatever you want to call it, it really delivered. And I want to watch CJI next year again. Hopefully they'll do it again. And once when it falls on ADCC this time around, it's my personal wish. I hope that they will have separate dates so they can be like a athlete crossover between the two, where top level athletes will get to compete in both events, and we as fans will have lesser combat sports overdose, especially if the UFC also falls on that date as well. And I want to see top level athletes in more top level athletes in CGI. Let's be honest, over 80 kilograms could have been a bit better, just on the talent side. Under 80 was great, but clearly could have been better. You know, there's guys who stayed in the ADCC, you know, who could have also been contenders for that money. So that's personally my hope, and let's see if it materializes. Maybe somebody like Gordon Ryan will probably not compete in CJI anyway because of the rivalry they have with Craig Jones, etc. But a lot of the other guys and perhaps girls in the future as well will compete. So those were my thoughts about ADCC versus CGI. I didn't get into any details about the performances, etc. This video is dedicated mostly about the general sides of the competitions and the general sides of the business. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about this whole thing, this whole situation between the ADCC and CJI. What do you think about it? Is ADCC actually done, in your opinion? Is it good for the sport if ADCC will be actually done? Is CJI done perhaps because they will not be able to collect more money and raise more money for the future events? So let me know your thoughts and where grappling is headed. I think this weekend grappling in general won, and I'd like to keep it that way.